Aging in America is often described as a double-edged sword. On one hand, modern medicine promises longer lifespans. On the other, daily habits quietly erode those extra years. We open with Dr. Emily Harris, a geriatric physician reflecting on her decades of practice. She shares that what shortens lives after 60 is rarely sudden illness. It's the silent patterns people overlook: hours of sitting, poor sleep, hidden loneliness, misguided nutrition, and chronic stress. She recalls patients who thrived well into their 90s and 100s, not because they were lucky, but because they sidestepped these hidden traps. This sets the stage: 5 dangerous habits, 5 stories and practical lessons anyone can start today. Michael, a 67-year-old former engineer in Ohio, begins every morning with a jog around the neighborhood. Neighbors admire him, assuming he's the picture of health. But like Sandra in our earlier story, Michael spends the rest of his day seated reading, driving, or glued to his recliner. By evening, he's logged 11 hours of sitting. His daughter Anna notices he struggles with simple movements like getting up without bracing on furniture. A simple sit-to-stand test exposes how much muscle he's lost. Research cited by Dr. Harris reveals that sitting for 8+ hours increases mortality risk by 60%. The twist: Michael thought his morning jog cancelled out the rest of the day. It didn't. But with the 50-10 rule, 50 minutes sitting, 10 minutes moving, Michael begins reclaiming strength. His story highlights that health isn't about one heroic workout. It's about weaving movement throughout life. Laura, a 70-year-old retired librarian in Boston, treasures her quiet dawn coffee ritual. But behind her calm mornings lies deep exhaustion. She falls asleep in her armchair by noon, struggles with memory lapses, and often blames it on just getting old. Like Carl, she has unknowingly bought into the myth that seniors need less sleep. Science proves otherwise. Older adults need 7 to 9 hours, but face fragmented sleep due to medications, stress, or circadian shifts. Laura's turning point comes when her grandson, studying neuroscience, explains how poor sleep increases risks of Alzheimer's and heart disease. Together, they implement the 3-2-1 rule: no meals, 3 hours before bed, no liquids, 2 hours before, no screens, 1 hour before. She also creates a nightly worry journal. Within weeks, Laura wakes up truly refreshed, her sharpness and mood restored. After his wife passed, Robert, a 74-year-old Vietnam veteran in Texas, prided himself on being self-sufficient. He told his kids he didn't need help, insisting he enjoyed the peace. But his days shrank into grocery trips, TV marathons, and silent dinners. What looked like independence was actually quiet isolation. Studies show chronic loneliness can be as harmful as smoking 15 cigarettes a day, raising dementia risk by 66%. Robert's wake-up call comes at a church health seminar, where he realizes he hasn't had a meaningful conversation in weeks. Slowly, he reconnects, joining a veteran storytelling group, mentoring high school students, and volunteering at an animal shelter. His health markers improve, but more importantly, so does his spirit. Robert learns that independence isn't the absence of others. It's the freedom to choose connection. Margaret, 72, believed she was eating perfectly whole wheat toast, orange juice, low-fat yogurt. But like David, she fell victim to outdated nutrition myths. She battled fatigue, joint pain, and prediabetes. A nutritionist helps her realize that healthy grains and fruit juices spike blood sugar while vegetable oils fuel inflammation. Margaret shifts to a senior-adapted Mediterranean approach: eggs with spinach salmon salads, olive oil, and turmeric-laced soups. Cooking becomes a joyful experiment with her grandkids. Within months, her energy surges, cuts heal faster, and her blood work improves. The lesson: good nutrition isn't about old food pyramids. It's about adapting to how the aging body actually works. Evelyn, a retired teacher in Florida, always prided herself on being prepared for everything. But beneath her careful lists was unrelenting anxiety about money, health, and her children's futures. Like Nancy, her cortisol levels spiked dangerously high, showing how chronic stress ages cells and weakens immunity. A counselor guides her through mindfulness tailored for seniors, making 2 lists: what she can control, what she can't, practicing loving awareness of worries and shifting her perspective from what if to how do I want to be remembered. With gentle yoga, gardening, and a support group, Evelyn learns to loosen her grip on fear. Over months, her blood pressure and sleep normalize, and her family sees her radiate calm again. Her journey proves that peace is not the absence of problems, but the ability to meet them with balance. Aging doesn't happen in isolation. It's a family story. Sarah, a 38-year-old nurse, talks about her father, George, who insists he's just slowing down with age. To Sarah, it's painful she sees the same warning signs in her father that she sees in patients' endless sitting. Poor sleep and a creeping loneliness he won't admit. She tries gentle encouragement, reminding him that his health is not just his own. It shapes the... Across the country in Oregon, Daniel, a high school teacher, recalls the joy of fishing trips with his mother, Helen. But lately, Helen cancels outings, claiming she's too tired or not in the mood. Daniel notices her world shrinking, and with it, a piece of their bond. Then, one day, Helen accepts a neighbor's invitation to join a walking gree. From the children's perspective, every choice seniors make, good or bad, echoes outward. Healthier habits restore not just years of life, but the warmth of connection, the shared experiences that become family treasures. Dr. Emily Harris returns sharing stories from her clinic. She notes that most patients don't die from one catastrophic disease, but from decades of small, overlooked habits. She explains the science behind each risk: sedentary behavior, poor sleep, isolation, diet, and stress, and emphasizes that none are inevitable. I've seen 90-year-olds with more energy than some 60-year-olds, she says. Her secret: they move daily, sleep deeply, connect, often eat wisely, and let go of stress. The doctor's voice lends authority and underscores that small, consistent habits, not extreme changes, are the real fountain of youth. The secret to longevity isn't found in giant leaps. It lives in daily details, small, almost invisible choices that, repeated over time, rewrite the future. Think of them as anchors for stand and stretch. Each hour rise for just 2 minutes. Those movements keep blood-flowing muscles awake and the mind alert. Evening reset. Replace late-night TV with a calming ritual, soft music, light reading, or gentle stretching. The brain craves rhythm, and routine sets the stage for deep rest. Connection. Check. Ask yourself weekly, who have I truly spoken with? If the answer is no, one reach out, call visit, or simply say hello to a neighbor. Food upgrade. Swap one processed item a day with something fresh, an apple, instead of a bar, olive oil instead of margarine. Small swaps accumulate into lasting health. Stress pause. When worries spiral, practice the 3-breath reset. Inhale deeply, exhale slowly, repeat 3 times. It interrupts the cycle of stress and brings calm. In towns across the U.S., seniors are embracing these tiny shifts. A grandfather walks laps around his living room during commercials. A widow keeps lavender oil by her bedside for comfort. A grandmother teaches her granddaughter how to cook with herbs that fight inflammation. They may look like small acts, but stacked together they reshape entire futures. Growing older is not about losing time. It's about gaining perspective. Every step, every stretch, every moment of connection or calm is an investment in the future you still have. Longevity isn't built in a single day, but in the steady rhythm of small choices, repeated again and again. Today you don't need a grand plan, just one decision. Stand instead of sit. Call instead of staying silent. Choose real food over processed. Breathe slowly when worry comes. Each small choice becomes a thread in the fabric of a stronger, more vibrant life. The truth is simple. Your next years can be your best years. The story of your life is still being written, and the pen is in your hands.